In the heart of Ouagadougou, whispers spread like wildfire, shadows cast over a leader's name, secrets hidden behind polished headlines. An invisible war unfolds, where truth and lies blur, and every move could tip a fragile nation into chaos. Who is the real enemy when the fiercest battle is fought not on the streets, but in the shadows of the media? What they're about to uncover will change everything, but at what cost? Disclaimer: this story is a work of fiction created solely for entertainment purposes. Any resemblance to actual persons, events, or organizations is purely coincidental. It does not reflect real facts or imply any malicious intent. The ceiling fan in the presidential office spun lazily above Ibrahim Traoré's head. Outside, the dry wind swept across Ouagadougou, carrying red dust and rumors. Inside, silence had grown heavy. On the polished mahogany table lay a freshly printed report from a major European news outlet. Its headline was as brutal as it was calculated: Human Rights Abuses Under Traoré, A Democracy in Decline? He read the first line slowly, jaw tight. Torture, unlawful detentions, repression of dissent, claims that echoed with manufactured precision. No dates. No names. Just assertions wrapped in the authority of a Western logo. The same outlets that had ignored massacres in rural provinces were now suddenly concerned with justice. Ibrahim looked up. Colonel Sita, his security advisor, stood across from him. Loyal, sharp, but visibly tense. "They're building a case," Sita muttered. "Soft coup. Not with guns, with words." Ibrahim nodded without responding. In the hallway beyond the thick walls, the footsteps of aides and junior ministers tapped like a metronome of a machine slowly grinding forward, an administration under siege, not from within, but from far beyond the borders. 4 months now, Ibrahim had been a different kind of target. Since the expulsion of a major foreign mining company that had refused to comply with Burkina Faso's new sovereignty laws, the tone in international circles had shifted.
Invitations vanished. Aid discussions froze.
Then the press moved in, first the editorial jabs, now this report. He wasn't surprised, but it still stung. His name, twisted and mangled in languages that his grandmother never spoke. "Call the communications minister," he finally said.
"And suspend all interviews for now."
No counter-narrative.
"Let them speak."
Sita frowned. "We're letting this grow. We're letting them expose themselves. But keep an eye on local sentiment. If the people begin to doubt, that's when we're in real danger." That was the truth that haunted him most. Not the foreign papers, not the diplomatic posturing, but the silent erosion of trust at home. He had built his leadership on transparency, resistance, and courage. But when the war is invisible, when it's waged through whispers and screens, how do you fight back without becoming what they accuse you of? The fan continued its slow spin, like time hesitating to move forward. Outside, a storm was forming. Inside, Ibrahim tightened his grip. 2 weeks later, the hum of fluorescent lights filled the cramped office of Moussa Cabaret, a seasoned investigative journalist known for his relentless pursuit of truth in Ouagadougou. Moussa scanned the latest leaked documents on his cracked laptop, brow furrowed. One file stood out, a detailed report accusing Captain Ibrahim Traoré's government of systematic human rights violations. But something felt off. Moussa's phone buzzed. It was Awa, a young intern from a local NGO.
"Moussa, I found something."
The independent report you're looking at, it's actually produced by a PR firm based in Accra.
"Guess who pays them?"
A multinational mining company kicked out of Burkina last year.
Moussa is narrowed. "This is the Phantom File, a ghost dossier meant to haunt Traoré." The revelation sent ripples through Moussa's network.
Yet exposing it would be dangerous. The multinational had deep pockets and international influence. Whispers of bribes and threats already floated in Ouaga's corridors of power. Meanwhile, at the presidential palace, Ibrahim's phone vibrated incessantly. Calls from diplomats warning of sanctions, envoys pressing for his appearance before international commissions, and foreign journalists demanding interviews. His trusted aide, Mariam, entered quietly.
"Captain, the media storm is growing."
Public opinion is shifting. People are scared. They whisper, if even the world turns against him, maybe the accusations are true.
Ibrahim exhaled slowly.
We cannot fight fire with fire. If we respond too aggressively, it'll confirm their narrative. We need patience, strategy. But patience was in short supply. A rally was planned in Koudougou district by opposition groups, fueled by the foreign media reports. The streets could erupt into chaos at any moment. In the privacy of his office, Ibrahim faced his reflection in the darkened window. They want me isolated, doubted, broken. But I still have those who believe in the truth. He picked up the phone, dialing Musa.
Tell me everything you've uncovered.
On the other end, Mousa's voice was steady but cautious. It's worse than we thought. The dossier is only part of a broader campaign to destabilize your government. But I have sources ready to speak, if you're willing to take risks. Ibrahim's jaw clenched. The fight ahead was no longer just political. It was a battle for his country's dignity, his own soul, and the fragile trust of his people.
Days bled into restless nights.
Ibrahim sat alone in the dim glow of his office lamp, the weight of the dossier pressing on his mind. Across Ouagadougou, rumors thickened like dust storms. Even his closest allies whispered doubts. The opposition smelled weakness and pushed harder. Street protests erupted in Koudougou and Tampawi, young voices fueled by foreign broadcasts and social media posts twisting reality. At a hurried cabinet meeting, Mariam, his communications chief, slammed her hand on the table. Captain, we need to respond.
Silence means complicity. The people are losing faith. Ibrahim shook his head. An angry reply will only feed the machine.
We must expose the source, not react blindly. Colonel Sita, standing rigid in the corner, added, Foreign embassies are calling. Threats of sanctions, freezing aid. Our economy, fragile as it is, will crack. His old friend and Minister of Justice, Kofi, sighed heavily. Even some in the military question your leadership. They fear isolation and instability. Ibrahim's eyes burned with fatigue and resolve.
We hold the line.
But I am prepared for sacrifice. Late one evening, the palace was stormed, not by guns, but by messages and leaks. Anonymous sources accused Ibrahim of ordering secret arrests. His name trended on Twitter with hashtags calling for his removal. A close aide was detained for leaking documents, though the real leakers remained invisible. Mariam found him staring out over the city, lights flickering like distant stars. Captain, your people need to see you, hear you.
Not shadows and rumors.
He finally nodded. Prepare a visit to the neighborhoods hardest hit by the unrest. I will speak directly to the people. No scripts. No cameras, just truth.
The day came.
Ibrahim walked through crowded streets, greeted by wary eyes and murmurs. An old woman touched his arm. Captain, we want peace, but also justice.
Don't let the lies silence Stati Uniti.
A young man, fists clenched, challenged him.
If the world abandons Stati Uniti, what hope do we have?
Ibrahim met his gaze. Hope comes from us. From standing firm, even when the night seems endless. Back at the palace, the pressure mounted. His allies dwindled, betrayal surfaced, and doubt gnawed at his soul. But amidst the chaos, a hidden ally emerged. Musa, the journalist, prepared to release his findings on the Phantom dossier's origins. The battle was far from over. Ibrahim knew that survival meant more than politics. It demanded courage, loyalty, and the relentless pursuit of truth, no matter the cost. The morning after Ibrahim's visit to the neighborhoods, the atmosphere in Ouagadougou was thick with anticipation and unease. Moussa Cabaret's exposé was ready to drop. The journalist had painstakingly gathered proof, invoices, email exchanges, and testimonies linking the damning report to a PR firm hired by the ousted multinational mining company. The web of deception was laid bare. Ibrahim convened his closest advisors.
This is our moment.
We must seize the narrative, but on our terms. Mariam nodded. I've arranged for a delegation of independent African journalists, trusted, unaligned, to come here. We'll give them full access to the country, the communities, and our institutions. Let them see the truth for themselves. Sita added cautiously, security will be tight, but transparent. No interference. The invitations went out, and the journalists arrived, voices from Lagos, Dakar, Johannesburg, and Nairobi. They met villagers, soldiers, activists, and government officials. They witnessed the fragile yet determined efforts to rebuild a sovereign Burkina Faso, free from foreign exploitation and propaganda. Meanwhile, the foreign press fumed, their narrative unraveling live before their eyes. Ibrahim avoided confrontations in international forums, choosing instead the quiet confidence of open doors and patient truth-telling. Inside the palace, a tense moment came when a close minister whispered, "Captain, they will never forgive you for this. You are exposing powerful enemies." Ibrahim replied, steady, "Better to face the truth's fire than the shadow of lies." Weeks passed. The independent journalist's documentary aired across Africa. It revealed the Phantom dossier's origins and the multinationals' desperate attempts to manipulate media and diplomacy. Public opinion in Burkina and beyond shifted palpably. The people rallied, not blindly, but with renewed critical awareness.
Ibrahim stood at the window one evening, watching the city pulse with life.
His phone buzzed, a message from Musa: "Truth travels slowly, but it always arrives." He allowed himself a brief smile. The fight was far from over, but a decisive battle had been won. Months later, the dust had settled, but the scars remained. Ibrahim Traoré stood before the nation in the modest hall of the presidential palace, the weight of recent trials etched into the lines of his face. The air was thick with quiet hope and hard-earned resolve. "The storm of lies nearly drowned us," he began, voice steady, "but it revealed a truth more powerful than any false report. Our people's strength lies not in the praise of others, but in our unity, vigilance, and courage." He paused, looking at faces marked by hardship and determination. "We learned that the enemy does not always come with guns.
Sometimes, it wears the mask of truth, spreading shadows to divide Stati Uniti.
We must never forget that the fight for our sovereignty is also a fight for our dignity, to define our destiny without interference or deceit." In the months that followed, reforms were set in motion to strengthen transparency, protect free speech, and build resilience against manipulation. Ibrahim knew this was only the beginning, but the lesson was clear. Lies travel fast, but truth walks steady, carried in the silence and endurance of the righteous. Outside the palace, children played beneath the baobab trees, and the city hummed with cautious optimism. Ibrahim allowed himself to believe in a future where the people of Burkina Faso could stand tall, not because the world says so, but because they know their own story, told in their own words.
The Phantom dossier had failed.
But the true fight for justice, freedom, and honor would continue, rooted in the soil and spirit of Africa itself.